have just a few wrap-up questions for my second round.
Yes.
I told you at the end of my first round that I wanted to go back to the talk about your experience in North Carolina with the regulations under Section 111D of the Clean Air Act, including the Clean Air Plan and the ACE rule. You talked slightly about this. Do you believe that Section 111D of the Clean Air Act provides the EPA with authority to regulate greenhouse gases from a power plant only inside the fence line, or can EPA regulate beyond the individual plant fence line? How do you feel about that?
You know, I'd love to confer with my staff and with legal counsel to best determine how the courts have ruled on EPA's interpretation of that.
Well, as you know, the courts have kind of been on both sides of that issue, and I think it would make a determination to whether you could force a power plant to switch generation sources, and or would only require, say, a coal plant or natural gas plant to come up with best practices. So it does have great impacts, obviously, in certain parts of the country and certainly in my state as well. Senator Gillibrand mentioned PFAS. And you and I talked about this on the phone. I am very passionate about this issue, very concerned about the impacts of PFAS in the long term. Did press Administrator Wheeler to get to a clean drinking standard. Didn't get there. I agree with her. It didn't come, you know, there is a pathway towards it, but I am like-minded with her in terms of the restlessness of getting there and the delay. So I would impress upon you how important I think that is to our nation and to our nation's younger as they're living through the impacts of what this could have on our drinking water. So I would just ask the pledge to keep working with me and us on that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The last thing I would say is, and to Senator Carper, thank you for letting me have the joy of chairing my one committee hearing here, and I know we're going to be able to work well together, and we are anxious to go to the transportation bill. But when I hear Senator Carper talk about electric vehicles, I mean, I think that's a very aspirational. I saw where the president said he wants all federal vehicles to be electric, and I think that's a great aim. But we got to realize here, we've got to power these things with electricity. And if we disenfranchise a lot of the power sources that we can make cleaner in the process, I'm talking natural gas and coal, and that now provides our baseline fuel still here, I mean our baseline power here in this country, we're going to stick the plug into and try to power the vehicle, and there's not going to be enough power. I mean, it's going to be a power surge in this country if we get to this point of having electric vehicles. So at some point, we've got to really look at, and we see certain states like California that have had outages and have had to throttle different power sources because they're running low on a really hot day or maybe a really cold day or something of that nature. So I would just say, in West Virginia, we say coal keeps the lights on, which it does, but it also powers a lot of vehicles, and it employs a lot of people. And so again, when we talk about what the effects are of transitioning jobs and environmental justice and how it impacts people in all different communities, and Senator Booker is very passionate in this area, I think I think the experience that I experienced with the 1.8 million West Virginians in the past several years during the Obama administration, where now we see some of the same players, and not you. You're a fresh face, very transparent, very ready to work, and I really welcome that, because I am concerned, because some of the same words and the same rhetoric was given to us. We're going to take care of you. We're going to retrain workers. They're going to learn to code. You know, they're going to move. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. And we just got dropped on our heads. And it really, really hurt our part of the country. And I'm sure you've seen some of that in certain parts of North Carolina and different industries. And so I just I'm hoping, and I'm an optimistic person, and so I maybe even hoping towards believing, but I'm hoping that it's not just another committee that's going to give me, give the state $2 million to have a committee meeting so we can figure out how we're going to make things better, and then nothing ever happens and no change ever occurs. So I want to be your partner in this. I want to be able to join with you and the rest of the members really of the Senate, but particularly those hard-hit areas, because it has been very, very difficult to try to rebound from. So with that, I would say, unless you wanted to make a comment, I would say we're about to wrap up.
Madam